Hi, I'm Beth Cougler Blom, and this is Facilitating on Purpose, the space where we talk about designing and facilitating learning. In this episode, I get to pull Nathy Ravez, the host of the podcast called There's a Workshop for That, in front of the mic and interview her for a change about her work as a workshop designer and facilitator working with international organizations. Nathy is also a co-founder of the Fit for Facilitation community, and she has spent time over the past years mentoring and training facilitators over the globe by strengthening their skills and growing their business so they can live from their passion and make meaningful impact. I'm so pleased to present this conversation about making early connections with participants. To you from Nathy and I. Enjoy the show. Nathy, it's so great to see you. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm so looking forward to talking about connection with you today.
Oh, thank you, Beth. I'm so happy to join you in this conversation. And I'm so happy that we connect
I know.
a few weeks ago.
Yeah, I always love doing that pre-meeting, and especially because you and I have the same role. We are both podcast hosts. I'm secretly excited to have you on the podcast for just not only your facilitation skills, but because we both do this and we both kind of get what it means to host podcasts. So it's lovely to have you here.
Thank you so much. And I feel a little bit nervous because this time I'm not the host, but the guest. And it's so easy I don't know what you think, but I think it's so easy to prepare and reach out to people to get them on your podcast and then ask them curious questions that you are so happy to get answers from them and learn from them. Now I'm the other way around and I'm like, oh, I'm super nervous.
Isn't it funny? Because it's a topic you've probably talked a lot about on your podcast. Connection probably comes up quite often, right?
Yeah, very often, very often. And I had great people to talk about connection, like Jan Keck or Chad Littlefield. These are people that I was looking up to and learning from. And it was a great pleasure to have them on the podcast.
Same.
But I think you had them also on the podcast, right?
Exactly. It's funny. It's going to be the Jan Keck and the Chad Littlefield show here because I had them and their conversations are really popular. Like I don't tend to say who's more popular than anyone else because of course everyone is so valuable what they bring to the podcast. But yes, those two folks have been with me talking about connection too.
But I think they are so popular because they are so authentic and so natural. When you talk to them, it's like you talk to a friend. They are really connectors. There is no other word than that. And they are really keen to include everyone and to teach the people how to do that. So I'm not surprised that those kind of episodes are very enjoyed by our listeners generally.
Is that how you think you learned about connection as a facilitator? Did you see people doing it? Did you have conversations, or do you think it was something you were always innately good at, connecting with others? Like, where did your interest and skill? I assume skill. I've never seen you facilitate, Nathy, but like, where did it come from? Did you see it modeled?
Very honestly, I think it's come from my personality. I've always been a connector. And I'm someone who is always deeply interested in including everyone. And if I go back to my personal story, I'm the eldest of 5 children. So I was very responsible to take care of my little brothers and sisters. And there are big difference of ages in this sibling group. So I was always keen to include also the little ones, when we are teenagers and we have other activities. So to connect and to give them a role in our games so that they can come here, or a role in our preparation when we were meeting our friends, the 3 big one meetings our friends, they had the role to help to make a cake or just do something. I love connection from as a child. The fact that I have been working in different kind of environment and working in different kind of countries, I needed to connect to the people so that I can integrate myself. So I'll give you an example. In 2013, I was going from France to Germany again for the second time. And I got a proposal to work in a company as a project manager in the machine industry, packaging machine industry. I never saw a machine in my life. Okay. So I was working in a complete different environment before. So I have had from the beginning, I want to spend 1 week in the assembly to talk to Montreal and to do the job myself to understand what it is. Then I would spend 2 weeks with engineer to understand how they build all the things. And then I got to connect with them by asking a lot of questions and showing them that without their expertise, I will not be able to be a good project manager. So I always had this in my gene, I would say. Even as a musician, I'm a musician as a hobby. It was my big hobby. So I was on stage during the weekend. So here you have to make connection on the stage with your musician so that other people feel the connection. And you have to make connection also with the audience so that they feel connected with the music, with the atmosphere, with us as a band. So I think in everything, what I've been doing in my life, this had a big, big place. Connecting and engaging people has always been something that this is what I really enjoy. It's over any methods. This is what I really enjoy and what I try now through people like Jed or people like Jan Cake and other many. There are so many people who are doing this, but I try to understand over the fact that it's something natural in my case. How do you apply principles? Which tools can you use to do that? Which tools can you use to include also everyone? Because I'm an extrovert, so I have to think also that you need to include also other people who have a different way of thinking and doing the things. I don't know if it was a long answer to your question.
No, I love it because I think I've done some of the same work. You look back over your life and go, how did I become a facilitator and the type of facilitator that I am? And just some of the things that you mentioned, I can really resonate with. I had this, family and music, and it'd be interesting to look back and, our colleagues' past too and go, well, we're going to keep talking about Jan and Chad. So how did those two and all of our other wonderful colleagues, how did they learn how to do this role? And particularly in the connection making aspect of it, it'd be fascinating, wouldn't it, to go, what's the journey of that? But how do we also teach it to others who maybe didn't get some of the same experiences? Because I know you teach facilitation a lot. Do you have a secret formula to teaching people how to make connections? Like, what is it that you tell people or talk about?
So, for example, I've been working with a group of attachés from government, and these people were spread over Asia, so in Indonesia, Vietnam, Malaysia, Philippines. And their work was to organize conferences. So I would say boring conferences about business and trade. This is why I say boring, but it's not boring and it's very interesting. And they wanted to engage people and they didn't know how to do that. So how do I teach that? I would teach first what it means to connect people and what it takes to connect them. And I do think that the first thing is that people need to feel that they are here for a good reason. So you need to connect them with the fact that they are in your room. You need to connect them and show them the value of them being in the room with their colleagues or the people who are in the conference. And you need to really pay attention at the beginning to connect these people and engage these people so that they feel naturally like, oh, what is coming next. So this is the first thing that I teach, that connection. If you do, I think 80% of the success of the rest depends from this beginning, how you bring the people into a conference, into a workshop, into an important cross-functional department meetings. This is really where it starts.
And what is the beginning for you? Is it when you see them for the first time? Do you do something or many things before? I mean, with a conference, it's hard because sometimes you just see, if you're facilitating at a conference, you don't get access ahead of time. But if it's a workshop, do you do things ahead of time to start laying the groundwork for connection?
Yeah, I really do think that connection start before, if possible, before the workshop starts. So this is really something that I say to my clients. If we work together, what I would like to have, if possible, so depending on the group, of course, but if possible, is to have interviews with the people. It don't need to be long. Sometimes 10 minutes are absolutely okay, but 10 minutes where you ask a few questions, where the person feel you care about what she think, where the person get to know you, and where the person can be activated about what is coming then and forecast then in the time before the workshop. So this is what I try to catch with videos. I think you do videos also, no? Sorry, interviews. You are doing also something that I was talking to just before that I am doing too is videos.
It's videos, exactly.
In case
Yeah.
I cannot do interviews or surveys, what I love to do is to send a short video. It don't need to be long. It can be a 2 minutes video, just to present yourself and to say, hey, we will spend the next 2 days or 2 hours on Monday together. And I would like you to have the chance to get to know me before. I have a strange accent because I'm French. But I'm very keen to meet you and we will work on this and this. Be curious. Don't prepare anything. We will start together on Monday. And that's sometimes it's just enough so that the people feel connected to you. But you do the same, right?
I do the same. I have not done interviews, so let's go back to that. But the welcome video or the video to introduce myself, you're
Yeah.
right. Just the short thing, maybe I don't know, depends kind of how much you talk about, but and I try not to do a whole I do not do a whole long bio, but it's
Yeah,
really
yeah.
just to, look at the camera and go, "Hi, I'm Beth and I'll be your facilitator," and just and have them know a little bit about who I am and that I'm not scary. that it's could be fun, right? Like it's going to be fun probably whatever
Yeah.
it is that we're doing. Yeah, just to take the pressure off. Like I'm just a fun, real human being that's coming to spend some time with you and it's going to be okay. Not that I say those words.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Do you find with the interviews, I'm so curious about them because I don't know if I've ever, well, I shouldn't say that. With certain projects I have, it's almost like a focus group or that kind of thing. But I don't know. Not every facilitation would I ask the client to do interviews with a few people. So tell me more. Do the clients immediately go, "Oh yes, that's that. If you need that, we will get you that, Nathy." Like they don't push back on that at all.
No, it's not like this. It depends really on what you are doing. So, if I would facilitate a large group, I facilitated large group kickoff days, like kickoff days for big digital transformation project, and I have 70 directors in the room. I will for sure not have access to these people who don't have the time. If I have a little group with who I would work for several months and I need to find out who is at which place and what kind of personalities do I have in the group, then I ask the customer, okay, we have a group of 12 people. I would like to run 12 interview. It takes 10 minutes. It will be everything prepared in advance just for me to find out who is in the room and for them to be able to say what they would like to achieve during this time and what do they need to be able to completely participate. So these are the things that I like to do. And I do that most of the time with the more little group I'm working with. So, and for this, I would prepare an interview that helps me not only to get in touch with them, but also to measure some elements that I would measure also after the workshop. So it gives me also statu quo before the workshop and something that I can give again, like the same questions. Do you remember as we had this interview before the workshop? I have exactly the same questions prepared for you, and I would like you to rate where you are now, for example. This is good for the participant, good for my workshop preparation, but also good for measurement of what they learned during this time. So this is something that I really like to do, and it's very simple. In this case, it was while I'm talking, I'm thinking about these clients with the attaché, where I wanted to know if they ever heard about facilitation, if they are new in the team and haven't run conference right now, because I knew that they were building the team as they were hiring me. So I knew that I would have new people and people who were in the place since 3 years. So I needed to see can I include everyone in this case. And in another case, I did also interview with it was a work with a group of 4 people, 2 leaders, 2 team managers, and there were conflict in the department, so to say, communication problems, conflict problems. So here I expressly asked to have a short conversation with each of them. That would be confidential. Nothing would be revealed. It's just between them and me, because I needed them to build trust with me before we go in a room where we will put all the dirty laundry on the table, sort it out, wash it, and then put it together so they come out of the workshop with something they can start to work with, you know. So I really needed to ask questions so that they can put out all their thoughts, frustration, and everything, so that I have an idea what do I need to catch and how do I do that, because these are very tricky things. If you are not doing this the right way, it can go very wrong.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And when you have the time to do it, and you're going to be working with them for a long time sometimes, and yeah, there's issues that you need to uncover. And you mentioned being able to include everyone. I mean, do you invite them to share with you their needs for participating in sessions, accessibility and inclusion wise? Do you open the door for, who are these individuals? Who is this individual? This 10 or 12 minutes you've got with them, or however long you're taking. How do you draw that out of them? Because that's related to connection too, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. So I would, in this case of the 4 people where it was about resolving really conflict and frustration, I would have spent more time with them, and it was in person. So it's more easy. So I would include this in my proposal to the customer. If you want to solve this problem, we need to start with the person, and whatever she's telling me in this half an hour, 1 hour, I don't know, it will stay with me and her, but it will help me after. And it help her to put out to something he don't know. So he don't know me. So sometimes it's a little bit more easy. And I'm just here to get the impression of what needs to be done and to see the underlying challenges that needs to be tackled, and that maybe my customer, the one that hire me, don't see, because of course they would not speak with each other the same way. If their boss hire me to solve problems in his department, I'm sure they are not talking the same way with me than with their manager. So it would help me. But I don't do this every time. And if I do this, this is part of my proposal because I see the need.
Yeah, absolutely. You can make the case for it for sure and hope the client comes along and allows you to do it, because you need to do your work. You need to be able to do the job that they've hired you for. Yeah. You mentioned trust, of course. We knew we were going to talk about trust when we talk about connection. So if you don't get this early access in these interviews, how do you start building trust with your participants when you see them for the first time in the room?
I try to catch them before even they enter the room. So I'm really someone who I really do think that looking at someone in the eyes, say hi, have a chit chat about something that has maybe nothing to do with what is coming, not even reveal who am sometimes, and they have the surprise after. I really do think these little moments are very important. And I had this conversation with Chad, who said how he's welcoming people in the room, and I do it exactly the same way. I would ask someone, "Hey, oh, you're in Indonesia. How do you say hello in Indonesia?" Because today we are a lot of people from different countries, and at the end of the day, I want to have all the greetings from all the countries on my list. And how do you do that, Beth? How do you connect with people before or during the workshop?
Well, definitely surveys, same
Yeah,
thing. As I said, I haven't done interviews. I don't often get a lot of contracts that happen over months. Of course, I would really almost demand that interview that you're
yeah,
talking about. I think if I
yeah,
had that, it's very rare for me or almost impossible in some respects in the videos. But like you, whether it's virtual or in person, I try to connect with people just informally as they walk in the room, and just stay off my phone, catch people as they come in, smile, just chit chat. You're right. I don't always say, "Oh, I'm the facilitator." I don't really care about that.
no, no,
No. Yeah, just try to be a friendly. I'm Canadian, what do you say? Like we're
the
friendly people.
most
That's our
friendly people.
reputation. It's funny to see what other people reflect back to you.
Yeah, I think it's so important, even in virtual session. I mean, even in my free classes or free event that I do online, I really love to welcome people and see on the camera and look at the names and say the names. It's a little thing, but if you say, "Hey, Angela, you have a nice pullover in the same brand color that I have. Is it a coincidence?" Or I don't know, or "Oh, what a great kitchen you have in the background, Amalia." These are names and things that I really said in the past days, but so that people feel you see them. So it's a little thing that they feel like, "Oh, she see me." It's a human connection and trying to, I have this prompter in front of me, and why should I have a prompter? I mean, I can have my camera from my computer, but because if I'm looking in the prompter, I'm looking in the eyes of the people. And these are little things that you do this in a room by not being in behind a desk or in the front on the stage and waiting that people are coming in, but being in the middle of the people and say hi and ask, "Oh, did you have already a cafe? Or did you try the cake from the cafeteria? It was so good." And not because you have to do this, but it needs to become something natural. This is something that I try to teach also to the people, because people are very shy sometimes, but when they are playing this role play with others, they see how they feel when someone asks them questions, so they try to do the same.
It's true. I attended the Session Lab State of Facilitation launch, like the
Yeah,
reports launch yesterday. And what you said exactly happened where Deb, who I've interviewed on the podcast before, Deborah Remoiso, she said, "Oh, there's Beth," and what do I do? Because you come in and you have no expression, right?
yeah,
Because you're
yeah,
just coming into the meeting and then someone says, "Nathy, it's you." And what do? Right? Like she's lighting
yeah,
up and just smiling,
absolutely,
and
yeah,
it helps
absolutely.
people come alive. Yeah.
And what you can do, I don't know how you use your survey, for example, but lately I did a free class it was on another topic. It was a free class about how to become a freelance facilitator. However, I didn't know who would be in the room or not. So when they registered for this session, I made a little survey. Like, are you a freelance facilitator since how many years? What are from these 4 topics, which are the ones that you are keen to leverage in 2026? That was it. It was not so much questions, but what I did when I had then the session was talking about, "Hey, I'm Nanana, I'm Nathy, and here in the room I have 2 guests who will talk with you today." Normally when I do a workshop or a session with a group of people, I love to be connected with them before. So with you guys, it was not really possible. But if you can remember, as you registered to my free class, you had a little survey, and this little survey tells me so much about you. So do you want to hear what I get out from this survey and who is in the room today? And this is a really good introduction to present to them who is in the room, because they are all strangers coming to an event. So when I do a survey, I try to reuse this at the beginning of my session not to put slides and numbers, but to make a sense of what I ask in the survey.
Yeah, and you're helping people get to know each other a little bit too. I mean, that's kind of as an aggregate group sort of data, but connection between participants is really important for you in general, I think, right?
Yes, I
Yeah,
really
it's not
like
just
it.
you and the participants. It's between participants
Yeah,
as well.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love, and because I really think that it's not about me at the end. If I am in a workshop with a client, an organization, in a group, it's about them. It's about, I'm just here to help them, give them guidance to go to a point to another and to come to an outcome that they need to have to go further toward their goals. So it's not me. I'm just here to create the space, to create the conditions so that they can do something together. And if we want them to do something together, they need to feel connected and to feel engaged so they have the will to contribute, to participate, to do something. So I think this is the really start of good collaboration. This is the start of everything.
Do you work with a lot of participants who resist that kind of stuff, the connection making, I can think of groups that when I've come along, they're kind of burned out on stuff they've done before. And then they go, oh, your session was different. Like how do you, what do you do when you've got a group that they are so burned out on the stuff that other people have done, or maybe, I don't know, false connection making, or they haven't
Yeah.
really done a good job of, like irrelevant connection making kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
going to mention the name icebreaker because it came up at home with my husband the other day. Meaningless
Ice
icebreaker,
melter.
like,
Ice melter, Jan.
yes. Okay, Jan. Yeah, write your book, Jan. We're ready for it.
Warmer, warmer. So I cannot remember that I had a lot of resistance. I can remember situations where I was thinking, how the heck will I do that? I love to speak in examples. So years ago, I was booked to go to Italy for an executive board retreat. And I was not designing the whole retreat, absolutely not. They had their programs, but I was there for a window of 3 hours, and it was about AI strategy. And it was about AI, the topic, but it's not the point. Before me, they started at 8, and they had a big meeting with, I don't know exactly who it was, but I guess they're a consultant that were working for them. And I know that they had discussion about some of the companies under the big companies who need maybe to be closed. And it was really hitting conversation because I was waiting in a room directly close to this room. So I could hear the conversation, and it was delayed all the time. So the person who hired me came and told me, I'm sorry, it will be 1 hour later. I'm sorry. So as I came in the room to talk on a new topic, and where I know that the person hired me because he knew me very well and he knows that I'm bringing energy and all the things, but I could feel the weight of the morning. I was just wondering, how will you do that? I did that by getting to each of the people in the room. It was like 15 persons. So I was taking the time to go to each of them, somewhere on the phone, somewhere outside. They were drinking coffee. I was coming directly after this meeting. And then I had my pink, it's always my pink color when I'm facilitating. I had my pink jacket. And then I go around. It was like a U, they were sitting in a U. I was coming in the middle. And I was like, I hope I have only one question before we start. We will start in a moment. And I know you need few more minutes to take your coffee, take a candies, breathe. But I have a very important question before we start. Is anyone allergic to pink in the room? I just need to know. On the moment, it relaxed the atmosphere, and it was more a funny moment. And this thing changed everything, and the attention. People, oh, who is this? Who is this? So it is just an example of how I do this. And I don't know if it's recipe or not, but this is the way I am in workshop. And then what I would say, I don't really use the word icebreaker or ice melter. I just try to find a question or a card or something that would bring the people closer to start to reflect on the meaning of this gathering. So I really try to not take any standard activity each time. If it fits, it's good. But it's not fitting, I will not do an icebreaker to do an icebreaker. I would just ask myself, the first thing I like to do is to ask something. So maybe it's asking to draw something, asking to put a word in a word cloud, asking to, how do you feel today? Or what was the first thing you thought as you knew you are coming to this session today? Maybe you were super frustrated because you don't have the time actually for those kind of stuff. Or maybe you were curious, or maybe you were super happy to come. So please turn to your next neighbor and talk with the person next to you about this. So these are kind of things that I like to do, and it's just to connect the people, to ask them before you reveal anything.
And establish. I think you talked before about, I forget how you phrased it, but it was around, helping them realize like why they're there too.
Yeah,
Like it's got to be connected. It's meaningful. It's relevant to why they're there. Like the things that you're doing right off the bat, the start of the workshop connects to that.
yeah, and then really work on this part when you are welcoming a group. I mean, when you are welcoming a group, for example, of 70 directors who will have to work 5 years on a digital project, which will take all their energy, all their budget, all the things. And you have 2 days to align them, motivate them, and make them create something so that the whole organization know about this project. Then you have to really work on your first 15 minutes. And my first 15 minutes was really éloge. How do we say this in English? A highlighting of why are you in the room? Why you've been picked to come to this beautiful castle today? Why you actually? And all my first 10 minutes was about that. Why you?
I think you said to me in our pre-meeting too that, and this is relevant, like this is related to what you said, it was you're connecting people to the topic
Yeah.
of why they're there as much as to each other and to you. It's all part of it, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. And if we can combine both together, this is the best way.
Yeah. Because as you've said, you might be there for 2 days, but they're there for 2 years working with each other. I mean, not there in that room, but in the castle. But
Absolutely.
they have to connect in those 2 days because 2 years is coming.
Yes. And they have to be able to count on each other, to maybe not have every answers, but be able to ask to someone. So this is one of the workshops I really, really enjoyed. Because the first activity we did then were a marshmallow challenge. It was the first activity. It was like 10 tables of 7 people. How do you connect these people who are working globally? So they are for the first time in a room all together. It's a high budget for the company. How to make that they are collaborating with each other. And then we did the marshmallow challenge where they have a few spaghettis on the table and tape and a marshmallow and I think a ribbon. And they had to build the highest tower with a marshmallow on the top. And I gave them first, if you want to collaborate, great, the ring, the experience. Then I think the first thing you need to do is to strategize. So this is where you will find out who has which ideas and decide together on how do we go with this and then do the activity and not straight away the activity. But I think this is in 2 parts. And it was so nice to see them really discuss and see, yes, but what do you think? And you build trust after and after. So it's like you connect the people, the audience with you, with each other, with the topic. These are the 3 elements of the beginning. And then trust is built along the workshop. You cannot build trust in 5 minutes with an icebreaker.
Yeah, if someone is out there and they can let us know, right? Because that's never how we've seen it happen. It takes time, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. It depends on the workshop you are doing. I think this is really key. Engagement, connection, engagement to have contribution afterwards.
I'm remembering what you said. It's not all about you. And there's a book in there that you should write or something, right? Like cuz maybe inexperienced facilitators might think it is all about them. It's a heavy weight maybe that we carry as facilitators. We think we have to be all things to all people and be the one to do all the connection making with everybody, but it really is about the group.
Yeah, it's really about the group. So what I take for me when it's about, I am just building the conditions for, so I really need to think, and this is why it's called designing experience. It's not just putting together activities. It's really thinking about, okay, if I want to get to this outcome, how do I create the space at the very beginning so that they are open to work on it? How do I set the things? I think that I try to say every time, not at the very beginning, but when we are coming to the heart of the work that needs to be done, I would very often say, okay, I want to create a safe space where you can fail, that you can exchange, that there is no bad opinion. It doesn't mean that it will be a comfortable space, because feeling safe in a space means also being able to have conversation where opinion diverge, and then being able of converting this to something that is constructive and where everyone can commit to. And you will not have every time the commitment of everyone, but if the group decide, then at some point you need to put yourself in trust and see. And if the group fails, this is not a problem, then you try something else. This is my role. I take it very seriously to design in it and to rearrange, because sometimes you design on your desk at home with your post-its and your activities. And then when you're in the room, you can feel that something is not clicking or that you have to readjust. And this is where my role is, but it's just so that the foundation are good so that the group can work with it.
I've got a couple of thoughts coming up. One is the that connection. People could think it's all about just happy, we're loving each other, but connection, as you've said, like it can be disagreement, it can
Yeah.
be dissension,
Yeah.
like it's a broader way for some of us to think about connection, isn't it? It's not just fun and games, it's meaningful work in all sorts of different ways with different emotions probably in there as well.
Yeah. Yeah. If we go back to this work that I did with these little managers who had conflict, I started this session. It was 3 sessions, and I started the first one with an envelope they had on their desk, and in each envelope there were the same pieces, color, and same number of pieces of Lego, and they were all very curious. Yeah, why are Legos here? I told them we will make a little experience, and we will start straight away. Don't ask too much. Just try something. Just accept the fact that we are drinking coffee, and while you are drinking your coffee, you have 6 pieces of Lego on your desk, and I would like each of you to build a duck.
A duck.
A duck.
Okay.
And they would, as soon as people are taking things in their hands, their concentration is going to what they are doing. So it's easier. So I don't know, the frustration or what could come in the room is disappearing for a moment. So, and I told them, hide your duck, try to not show your colleague what you are doing. And so and it was very good, because normally they were all thinking in their own direction because lack of communication. So I was doing this exactly. Then now show your duck. Oh, it's strange. You all have the same pieces and you all have different ducks. Do you want to continue the game? And then, yes, continue the game. Say, okay, take away your duck and then go seat to seat, but in the back like this. Sit
Like back to back.
and one has is duck and in explaining the other one how you build the duck, and then we will see
Okay.
what is coming up. And of course, the ducks were different. But what came out from this? It was not about them building a duck. You know all why we are here because we already had these interviews together. So you all know that we are here because you have something to solve together. But the first thing that I want to show you is that generally each of us take information differently. Each of us do something different with the kind of information you receive. You had 6 species of exactly the same color, exactly the same form, and you came out with different ducks. You were giving very clear information to the person behind you, and she's coming with another duck. And this is exactly what is happening every day at home with our wife and husband and children, in the workplace. But there are places where we need to adapt and find ways to communicate better. And this is why we are here. And all this was just to connect them with each other also, with the topic and with the why they are here. And they were much more open than to go through the process.
It's so powerful. So much more powerful than you just standing up and talking about why they needed to collaborate together, obviously, right? I love things like that where it's more discovery based and
Yeah.
they have fun
Yeah.
too doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was very nice session, very emotional. I was not expecting that at all. It was men's, men's are not so emotional, but it was, yeah.
Yeah. Has anything ever surprised you about fostering connection or facilitating connection with groups?
That has surprised me. Yeah, people opening up. People where you think sometimes you have people in the room you don't know, you cannot read them. I feel more comfortable when I have a feeling of who is the person, but there are persons who are you cannot read them really. And then you see them change expression and change the way they are talking and maybe observing at the beginning and then slowly, if someone is touching something with a question that really activates them, and then oh, this is what this person needs to flourish. I really like it. And I also really like when leaders, and it's not always like this, but when leaders are coming in a workshop organized for their teams, being a participant and not the leader, because suddenly completely different conversation are coming up because people are also talking to their manager, their leader on a different way. Yeah. It's the start of great things when it's happened.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, because hierarchy is a whole other deal, isn't it? To come into the room and what do you do with that and how do you level it? And
Yeah.
yeah, it's exciting when it can happen.
I really do think generally that connection and engagement is the medicine we need because we are also overloaded with all the information we get, all the new technologies that are coming, all the change. It's changed so fast. I mean, I'm working since 30 years. Everything is so changing so fast. If you let the connection on the side, how can it drive an organization? You can have all the technology of the world. Humans are not connecting, giving their best ideas and the best guidance for the technology to do what they need to do and not to let the technology do the things. Then it's difficult. So I really do believe that human intelligence is what we need to develop.
Absolutely. 100% agree. And you mentioned AI before, and this is the thing that will keep us, what's the word? Grounded, keep us sane, keep us human with each other. Yeah, put the humans first. We need that now more than ever.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We saw it already as we were all at home 5 years ago with the pandemic. So we know it. We know it. We see it. And despite of it, it's not so easy to make it clear to some organizations that this is actually where they need to invest.
We were talking about impact with the state of facilitation report. It was
Yeah.
all about
Yeah.
impact, right? And connection is about impact, isn't
Yeah.
it? We need it. Absolutely. We
Yeah.
can't not have it. We won't have the impact that organizations want and need.
Yeah. They should, of course, there are metrics, there are all the numbers, but these numbers can change if you are putting the they invest in the right things. And I think if you are investing time and money to make sure that your talent are feeling well, engaged, and motivated to work in the organization, then you will lower your cost of retention. You will lower your cost of the whole hiring process, all these things. If you invest in onboarding programs for new employees, that they feel home, that they feel that the team that is supposed to welcome this person is also prepared to welcome this person, and be aware that it takes time to be onboarded, that it takes time to find your rhythm, then you will also keep these people for a longer time and reduce other costs. So, it's all the things when we are talking about connection. It's also the organization we need to engage and connect their people to make sure if you engage the people on a project, big project, kickoff meeting where you need the people to be aligned, it's not only about alignment. It's also about full connective, knowing that through cross departments, they can count on each other and that they can reflect and they can ask for advice because I don't know, an engineer is building and creating spare parts, but they monitor and some assembly employee will put it in the machine. So they really need to talk with each other to make sure that what they are doing both are making sense and not working in silos. So it's really about engaging people and giving and create the space and the conditions so that they can communicate and collaborate better.
Yeah. And in that sense, it goes beyond the room where facilitation happens. It's much deeper and broader than that, isn't it? These skills that we know and other people who don't call themselves facilitators can do the same things
Exactly.
in the rest of the organizational context.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Becoming facilitative manager, facilitative leaders, employees, So I really just think that facilitation is a skill that is so important, even if we don't name this. But I think I try to teach facilitation in everything because this is the way we can make group working together and we get aware, oh, if I want my team to be engaged, maybe I should do this first and then this second.
Absolutely. Nathy, I think that organizations are lucky to have you, with this knowledge and expertise you have inside and outside the rooms. I mean, keep going and keep spreading your expertise in this area and all the things you haven't told us about today. It's been a pleasure to learn from you and to put you in the hot seat for a change. Thank you so much for talking with me.
Thank you so much, Beth. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure. And we are feeling good together. Pink and blue.
I know I didn't say so. Okay, two things just to end on. She's beautiful in this fuchsia pink. I think maybe Nathy is always in pink.
No, not always.
I need to get one of these teleprompters because she's literally been looking directly at me the whole time, whereas I'm still like futzing between like looking at the camera and then looking at her video feed. So I'm gonna ask her where she got her teleprompter after this because really it does support connection. It's been beautiful just to have your eyes on me the whole time, and I wish I could have done it for you too. Thanks again.
You're welcome. Thank you very much.
It was delightful to have this conversation with Nathy, and I appreciated that right from the get-go of this conversation, she said that she was nervous, and that helped make a connection between the two of us as we started this conversation. I really appreciated that she said that, and it's so true because when we're podcast hosts, we're interviewing other people and we're used to being the one asking the questions most of all, and she's very used to that. But in this case, I was pulling her onto my show, asking her the questions and putting her in that position. So it was nice that she started out with such honest sharing that it was a nerve-wracking experience. But of course, we knew she had a lot of experience to bring to the table and to the conversation, and that she did. One thing that she said that I just want to highlight was just about her thoughts around her as a facilitator and her role in the room. She said it's not about me, it's about them, the group, that her purpose is to help them, to give them guidance, to come to the outcome that they need to. And it just sounded like a clip, a quote that I could give back to you that was meaningful in terms of us and our approach to being facilitators in general, that it's not us, it's not about us, it's about the group. And that's why we do things, including all the connection making pieces that she talked about and we talked about in this episode. So we're there to serve the group. And the more we keep that at the center of our process, then we can make some of those great design decisions. And I like how she did focus on, that's why we call it design. And that's why we spend so much time talking about design, because we can take the time to think about what the group needs and what will serve the group. And then we can pull in those processes to help the group get there. So lots of great things that Nathy was able to bring to this conversation and to all of you. I hope you appreciated learning from her. And I encourage you to go and listen to her podcast as well. If you don't subscribe to that one, it's called There's a Workshop for That. And you should be able to find that on Apple Podcasts. That's where I listen to it, and other services as well. But check the show notes and you can find everything that there is to find about Nathy and how to follow her and listen as well. Thanks again to her for coming on the show. Coming up on the podcast, it's supposed to be a solo episode with me. If you've been listening for a while, you might realize or remember that I put out 3 guest episodes for every solo episode with me. And so it's time for a solo episode, but for this one, I'm going to do something a little bit different. I have asked my friend and colleague, Joseph Diaz, another podcast host. Actually, Joseph is the host of the Talk Learning with Me podcast coming out of the United States. Joseph is coming to ask me questions about my upcoming book, Everyday Acts of Facilitation. I gave him an advance copy, so he read the book. Thank you, Joseph. And he has interviewed me and asked me a bunch of questions about the book and why I wrote it and what's in it and all sorts of good stuff like that. So it's a fun conversation, but you know what? At one point, Joseph asked me a question that really broke me wide open, and I decided to leave it in the show because it does illustrate one of the points I make in the book. And it's about recognizing emotion and sitting with emotion when it comes. I didn't see it coming. Joseph was such a great facilitator in the conversation that he held the space for me while it happened. I hope that you listen in next time just for that moment alone. Even though I'm a little bit scared to share it with you, I really do think it just helps me live what I've talked about in the book. It is an everyday act of facilitation to feel emotion, and I'm excited actually to share it with you then. So great conversation with Joseph and I. Again, I want to thank him a lot for being able to do that with me and spending the time, and can't wait to share it with you next time. Thank you so much for listening. You can find the show notes for all the episodes at facilitatingonpurpose.ca. If you'd like to share any episode feedback for me, including how I can make it more accessible for you, or you want to give me a tip to help me think about something in a different way, please feel free to get in touch with me. I would love to hear from you. I'd also like to thank Mary Chan, as always, at Organized Sound Productions. She makes us sound so great with her audio editing that she does for every episode. Please rate the show if you enjoyed it and share it with a friend. That really helps me expand the reach of the show and make it all worthwhile. I love the learning, but I also like to know people are listening. That is fantastic. And I thank you in advance for that kind of support. Thank you so much, and see you next time.